The white paper is now officially available for download on our website or scanning the QR code behind me. We encourage you to explore the full document, which includes industry-specific insights and policy recommendations grounded in real-world business experience. For 74 years, AmCham has served as the voice of international business in Taiwan. Through advocacy, networking, knowledge sharing, we work to enhance the business climate and support Taiwan's long-term success. Our members, many with decades of local presence, employ tens of thousands and contribute significantly to Taiwan's innovation ecosystem. The Taiwan White Paper is our roadmap for government engagement for the coming year, outlining actionable steps to keep Taiwan globally competitive while advancing shared economic and democratic values. Now in its 29th year, the White Paper has contributed to major improvements in areas like intellectual property protection, healthcare reform, data privacy, and sustainability. This edition reflects over 5 months of collaboration with input from more than 150 members across many sectors. Together, they've submitted 95 recommendations to improve regulation, facilitate investment, and cement Taiwan's integration into a global supply chain. Fittingly, the cover illustration offers a visual metaphor, sketches of Taiwan's key industries converging into a cohesive picture of progress. Taiwan is known as a butterfly kingdom, and butterflies, symbol of change and transformation, reflect the spirit of this year's white paper. Like Taiwan itself, our butterfly is powered by chips, representing both resilience and forward motion in an evolving world. To walk us through this year's key messages, I'm pleased to turn things over to our chairperson, Dan Silver.
Thank you very much, Carl. We're delighted to have you at the Chamber. I know this is just your second month on the job, and we're very pleased that you can join us at the white paper release. And I also want to thank all of you and say good morning to all of you. Appreciate your attendance today at our 29th white paper launch by the American Chamber of Commerce in Taiwan. Before we get into the policy recommendations, it is important that we underscore as AmCham a broader point. Our members at AmCham believe wholeheartedly that Taiwan is a great place to do business. Our member companies have operated here for decades. In our latest business climate survey, we found that more than 50% of our members have been here for at least 30 years. These members have weathered global crises, they've invested in local talent, and they've made long-term commitments to Taiwan because they believe in its future. So the suggestions that we'll be talking about today are not criticisms. These are technical, forward-looking proposals that are aimed at making Taiwan even more competitive, more resilient, and more deeply integrated into the global economy. In many cases, our recommendations reflect the lessons that our companies, our members have learned in other places, or opportunities for Taiwan to align more closely with international norms. It's also worth reiterating that AmCham's mission is not just about advocacy, it's about pushing forward for the strongest relationship between Taiwan and the United States, and the best conditions for that to enable sustained prosperity. We go to Washington each year for our door knock. This year will be at the end of June, as Julia mentioned. And we go there not to ask the US government to change Taiwan, but instead to make the case for measures that will deepen the US-Taiwan partnership, especially in business. We believe Taiwan has a rare opportunity to lead, and not only as a global tech hub, but also as a model for democratic resilience, international economic alignment, and engagement throughout the world as a leader on many fronts. We're proud as AmCham to play a small part in supporting that vision. So now, ahead of addressing each New Year's each year's new white paper issues, our industry groups have taken the time to quickly assess progress on last year's suggestions. So I want to share a quick refresher on our scoring system. If an issue has been solved, it means that it is conclusively addressed. If it's in good progress, it means that there has been satisfactory follow-up from Taiwan's government. If it's under observations, it means that discussions are continuing but are not yet conclusive. If it's stalled, there has not been significant progress. And if it's dropped, it means simply that the issue is no longer a priority for that committee. And this approach allows us to track where dialogue has been productive and where more effort may be needed. In the 2024 white paper last year, we raised 97 different issues. Of these, 9 were resolved. 11 showed good progress. At the same time, around 80% of the issues raised last year remained either under observation or stalled. This underscores the need for more decisive, coordinated government action to improve predictability and reduce regulatory uncertainty. While the number of issues resolved remains modest, we did see a slight reversal of past downward trends. This is encouraging, and notably, the resolved issues spanned a very wide set of sectors, which shows that progress is possible when government and industry come together in the spirit of open dialogue. Our members agree that Taiwan is a great place to do business, and moving forward in an increasingly uncertain world, we are now putting forth suggestions to make Taiwan even stronger and more competitive, and ready to bounce back quickly from any external shocks. We believe that the world's increasing focus on resilient supply chains presents Taiwan with the opportunity to redefine its strategic positioning and play a leading role in the next era of global economic development. This year, we are highlighting 3 cross-cutting themes. They're all ours. One is regulations and the importance of regulatory modernization. The second R is resilience and the urgency of building resilience across sectors and society. And the third is the relationship between the US and Taiwan, where we see a need and an interest in deepening US-Taiwan cooperation even further. Discrepancies between local rules and global norms have created avoidable barriers to innovation in Taiwan, increasing compliance burdens and introducing costly delays. In some cases, they prevent multinational companies, like our members, from bringing the best technologies, treatments, or services to market in Taiwan. Alignment with international best practices is essential to Taiwan's long-term economic resilience. We believe a more predictable, transparent, harmonized environment will help Taiwan remain deeply integrated in global supply chains and positioned as a regional leader in sectors like AI, asset management, semiconductors, and healthcare. Transparency is the foundation of good rulemaking. Since 2016 and even before, AmCham has urged Taiwan to push forward on good regulatory practice. And in 2016, Taiwan did just that by extending its notice and comment period for new regulatory drafts to 60 days. This enables collaboration with diverse voices in the generation of new regulations. Unfortunately, this implementation has not always lived up to its promise. Domestic rules with international implications are often excluded, and urgency is sometimes cited as a reason for bypassing these rules. We note that ministries are invoking emergency exemptions too often, bypassing public review altogether in some cases. Over the past couple of months, we've seen firsthand how emergency declarations can cause chaos in the investment world. AmCham continues to reiterate that businesses need ample time to comment on and prepare for policy changes. Transparency alone is not enough if stakeholders cannot understand the rules, and so we believe that as an international business, environment, and partner, bilingual publication of rules is a basic necessity. That will help Taiwan do even better in a globally connected economy. So we urge the government to publish English and Chinese drafts concurrently from the very start of the consultation period. We also recommend that ministries use standardized templates and provide explanatory notes so that stakeholders can clearly grasp both the intention and the potential impact of new rules. Effective policymaking demands diverse perspectives. When industry experts and even the general public are brought into the conversation early, regulations become more workable, more enforceable, and future and shock-proof. International business groups like AmCham bring realistic benchmarks, global best practices, and real-world implementation experience. Ministries in Taiwan should treat them as policy partners. Early-stage roundtables and impact assessments should be standard practice across sectors. One of the most notable policy developments this year is President Lai's Whole of Society Resilience Initiative. 3 new presidential-level committees on climate change, health, and defense signal a long-term strategic pivot. Taiwan is institutionalizing resilience as a guiding national principle. We believe that this ambition must be matched by execution. Resilience must be built into laws, regulations, budgets, infrastructure, digital systems. Only then can Taiwan bounce back quickly from external shocks and remain a reliable partner in global commerce and security. Resilient infrastructure ensures that Taiwan can keep running during any type of crisis, whether caused by geopolitics, weather, supply chain disruptions, etc. To shock-proof Taiwan, the systems that we rely on every day, electricity, telecom, transportation, must remain functional in times of any disruption. So right now, Taiwan faces 3 key challenges in our view. One is grid congestion. Energy projects are being delayed because the grid lacks capacity or clarity on how projects can connect. We recommend increasing investments in storage, smart grid technology, and a transparent queuing system. The second is procurement. Complex or shifting bidding requirements are delaying infrastructure upgrades. Streamlining procurement will speed up project delivery and attract new levels of international expertise. And the third is telecom resilience. We've seen repeated submarine cable damages, and they've highlighted Taiwan's vulnerability. A dedicated cable repair vessel would reduce risk and protect data continuity. Taiwan has pledged to increase defense spending to over 3% of GDP, and it has revamped its conscription and reserve systems. These are critical steps towards self-reliance. However, the government's industrial cooperation program, or offset policy as it's known, still lacks clarity. Foreign defense contractors are asked to commit to investments without knowing the rules, timing, or qualifying activities. So we urge the government to work with industry to create regulatory clarity and remove barriers to procurement and deliveries. Our members stand ready to help create a more secure Taiwan. Taiwan's digital capabilities are evolving rapidly with growing investment in AI, quantum computing, and edge technologies. But gaps in regulation are beginning to slow private and public innovation. As digital transformation becomes ever more foundational to national resilience, outdated or inconsistent regulation threatens to become a new vulnerability. So to enhance Taiwan's resilience, the government, we believe, must urgently modernize its digital policy framework. Right now, the rules governing things like data storage, AI systems, and digital platforms are split across multiple agencies, creating confusion and slowing innovation in some cases. We call for a centralized digital policy framework, and this framework should be under the Executive Yuan. We believe it's imperative to adopt a principles-based approach that protects rights without over-regulating emerging technologies. Getting this right is critical, not just for Taiwan's digital competitiveness, but also for its democratic credibility and its national security. Taiwan is also committed to net zero emissions by 2050. The current pace of clean energy deployment, we believe, is too slow. The businesses of tomorrow need clean, sufficient energy to keep their lights on. Fragmented permitting processes, limiting auction rules, and access bottlenecks undermine investor confidence. Taiwan has the talent and it has the tools to lead in clean energy. What's missing is consistent execution. The world is watching and waiting for Taiwan to deliver on climate commitments as well as energy supply commitments. Taiwan has taken very important steps, we believe, to strengthen healthcare infrastructure. The National Cancer Drug Fund, the Healthy Taiwan Promotion Committee are promising platforms for reform. At the same time, though, approvals for new drugs and new devices are relatively slow, and pricing is unpredictable. Taiwan should adopt international standards for reimbursement, approval pathways, and clinical evidence requirements to make sure that patients have access to critical and innovative treatments. Currently, at 7.8% of GDP, Taiwan's healthcare spending is still less than that of the OECD average. As the population ages, investments should increase, particularly in chronic disease prevention, digital health, and smart hospitals. There's also a need to address the growing crisis of Taiwan's national nursing shortage, and it is imperative that this is part of building a resilient healthcare system. Taiwan's aging population is one of its greatest economic challenges. So this year, Taiwan will become a super-age society, meaning that 20% of the population or more is over the age of 65. So to sustain competitiveness, Taiwan must expand its labor pool by investing in local talent, upskilling workers, and attracting international professionals. So AmCham is recommending streamlined visa and work permit processes, recognition of foreign credentials, more flexible employment categories, and eliminating onboarding delays. We also urge the government to develop a national talent strategy that is aligned with industry's needs, especially in STEM fields, vocational training, and digital literacy. Taiwan's partnership with the United States has not been stronger than it is now, and this white paper underscores areas where further collaboration can strengthen economic resilience and strategic alignment. The change in the US administration has introduced new dynamics. We all recognize this. Taiwan must and is remaining proactive in pursuing a comprehensive and reciprocal trade agreement. Measures should continue to be taken to advance shared interests, creating goodwill in Washington, and strengthening Taiwan's own economic resilience. Taiwan should do what it can to deepen access to the US market, reinforce supply chain security, and demonstrate its commitment to high standard trade policies. At the same time, Taiwan should remain proactive in seeking deeper economic engagement with the United States, including continued efforts to secure targeted tariff relief and advance a double taxation avoidance agreement. The recent passage of enabling legislation by the US House of Representatives is a significant step forward on that question of double taxation avoidance. To build on this momentum, ongoing coordination with US partners will be critical to achieve full congressional approval and ensure that the agreement delivers lasting benefits to both sides. We also encourage more structured engagement through working groups and public-private dialogues on areas such as supply chain security, digital trade, and regulatory cooperation. So after the release of our white paper, which is today, Chamber leadership and some staff from the Chamber will travel to Washington, D.C. to present pressing advocacy issues to the US government, including think tanks, other important stakeholders, Capitol Hill, the executive branch, etc. And this year, our President Carl will be leading the delegation. And so with that, I would like to give the floor back to Carl to talk about our messages to Washington. Thank you.
Thank you, Dan. Each year, AmCham Taiwan provides concrete recommendations to the US government on ways to strengthen the US-Taiwan relationship, protect shared interests, and support American businesses in Taiwan. Our members are in Taiwan, for Taiwan, and this is the reason we advocate for this market across the Pacific. This year's messages emphasize Taiwan's strategic importance as a dependable trade and investment partner. In an era of global fragmentation, Taiwan stands out for the tangible value it delivers to the world. Taiwan is a vital partner in upholding peace and stability in Indo-Pacific. Its strategic location offers significant advantages to allied forces and reinforces deterrence in the face of rising regional threats. Taiwan is stepping up. It is pledged to increase its defense spending to over 3% of GDP, exceeding the NATO average, and overhauled its reserve and conscription systems. It has also continued to invest in American military equipment through both foreign military sales and direct commercial sales. We urge Washington to expedite delivery of previously approved arms packages, integrate Taiwanese companies into the U.S. defense supply chains where feasible, and coordinate deterrence strategies with regional partners like Japan and the Philippines. American businesses have, since AmCham's inception 74 years ago, asked for reasonable assurance of physical security, and they continue to do so today. Routine visits by senior U.S. officials, including cabinet members, are a cornerstone of diplomatic normalization. These visits support strategic coordination, drive regulatory alignment, and demonstrate that engagement with Taiwan is normal, expected, and uncontroversial. High-level exchanges were routine before the pandemic. It's time to reestablish that protocol. The absence of a U.S.-Taiwan tax agreement continues to hinder investment, especially for the thousands of Taiwan SMEs that support the semiconductor supply chain. These companies are eager to expand in the United States, but are unable to take the hit from double taxation. Earlier this year, the House passed the U.S.-Taiwan Expedited Double Tax Relief Act. The U.S. Chamber of Commerce has endorsed it. President Lai has publicly supported it. Now the bill still remains stalled in the Senate. We urge lawmakers to move quickly, either as a standalone measure or within a broader legislative package. Now is the time to finish the job. From our surveys, about 3/4 of our members say that a U.S.-Taiwan bilateral trade agreement is important to their business. Beyond removing trade barriers, a comprehensive reciprocal agreement would send a powerful message of commitment and leadership. Despite its significant contributions to global health, aviation safety, and cybersecurity, Taiwan remains excluded from critical international organizations, including the World Health Assembly, the International Civil Aviation Organization, and Interpol. These exclusions carry real risks, not just for Taiwan's 23 million people, but for global coordination on health, crises, aviation disruptions, and transnational crime. AmCham appreciates the U.S. efforts to advocate for Taiwan's participation. Taiwan has demonstrated its value time and time again. The international community should act accordingly. Taiwan is a reliable friend of the United States, an essential democratic partner in the Indo-Pacific, a major investor in American industry, and a critical contributor to supply chain resilience. Trade measures that were initially designed to address unfair practices by strategic competitors like China now risk unintentionally impacting trusted allies. As the U.S. works to bolster domestic manufacturing and reduce supply chain vulnerabilities, it is in America's interest to ensure that Taiwan is treated as a partner, not as an adversary. We encourage USTR and other relevant agencies to consider adjustments that better align tariff policy with current strategic and economic realities, particularly in sectors where Taiwan plays a vital role in supporting U.S. technological leadership and national security. In closing, we express our gratitude to the committee members, staff, and government partners that make the white paper possible. We look forward to working together to ensure that Taiwan remains resilient, competitive, and indispensable in the global economy. We will now open the floor to questions. Thank you.
I mean, AmCham
has 500 members, and a little over half are Americans. The rest are Taiwanese and other international companies. We have 25 committees. Each committee is supports an industry, and that's what the white paper is. It's a result of those 25 committees coming up with points that are important to their industry to help explain to and dialogue with the Taiwan government on ways to make business more efficient. So it's really through a committee system, and our members are telling us, and we're pulling it together, and the team pulls together the white paper.
Okay, so what are the main regulatory or operational barriers that American companies still face in Taiwan?
I mean, that is actually the point of the white paper is the 95 issues from the different industries that are explained in detail per industry. I think some of the bigger challenges, we talked about energy, and energy predictability is a big one. And I think we continue to look at the other issues in terms of transparency and communication. Yeah.
So when it comes to the investment climate in Taiwan, for AmCham members and potential AmCham members, we have 95 different issues that have been listed in our white paper this year. All of them deserve attention. Any of them that are improved upon will help improve the overall business climate for those industries and perhaps generally. But when it comes to Taiwan as a whole, the thing that we both appreciate and see more opportunity to improve is what's called good regulatory practice, or the way in which rules are drafted and then enacted. And our basic position at the Chamber is the more public involvement, the more involvement from industry, the more involvement from all stakeholders who may have something to contribute to the rulemaking, the stronger regulations in Taiwan can be, the more they conform to or even lead compared to global norms. And so when it comes to the new industries such as AI, quantum computing, et cetera, our belief is that engaging good regulatory practice in its most thorough fashion, engaging the public, engaging stakeholders to get their input early, will help make Taiwan the most innovation and investment-friendly place that it can be.
And given rising geopolitical tensions, how does AmCham advising its members to navigate Taiwan, China, and US-China?
And I think our focus is really on Taiwan and Taiwan-U.S. business. Again, I think looking at the geopolitical situation, it's not just for Taiwan. Everyone in the world is looking at it. Everyone in Asia is looking at it. And I think our members are constantly updating their plans, looking at the different, as situation changes. But I think it's common for everyone to continue to update and plan. And again, Taiwan is just one of all the countries in Asia that are watching very carefully.
Our members believe in Taiwan as an investment destination. Last year in our business climate survey, we surveyed close to 222 AmCham members, and 90% came back to say that they plan to maintain or increase their investment in Taiwan in 2025. That's a strong vote of confidence. It's a strong reflection of how committed our members and many new companies are to Taiwan. And so we would say that it's companies around the world conduct business continuity planning. Our members in Taiwan do the same. But overall, we see Taiwan as a very attractive place to invest, and we see more and more world-class companies that are doing important things on that front here in Taiwan.